Hello everyone, in the news today. March 2, 2021 by my 420 spot. Two-faced Vice President Kamala Harris flip-flop on marijuana legalization again. Does Vice President Harris support marijuana legalization? Several passages in a Bloomberg report about efforts to appoint a new top White House drug policy official suggest Vice President Kamala Harris no longer supports legalizing marijuana. According to the outlet, Harris, who sponsored a comprehensive Senate legislation to end federal anti-marijuana prohibition by the end of this year, has now taken the position of President Biden, who opposes cannabis legalization. As of late, Harris has toned down her calls for broad reform, opting instead for cannabis decriminalization and expungement in line with President Biden's agenda. During her own presidential campaign, she spent a lot of time discussing whether marijuana should be legalized federally, but that particular narrative has been abandoned since she joined Biden's presidential ticket in August. Decriminalization and expungements are Biden's preferred policy, along with medical cannabis legalization and reclassifying the plan under federal law. The aide said that Harris's positions are now the same as Biden's, though the source asked not to be named because the vice president hasn't announced the change. Since the staffer didn't make it specific, it could be referenced to Harris's endorsement of legalization and Biden's eventual change of heart. It appears more likely that Harris's position has changed because the vice president's rhetoric on the issue has shifted, reaffirming the administration's commitment to simply decriminalizing marijuana and expunging records instead of legalizing the plant. In September, for example, she simply declared that we will decriminalize marijuana use and automatically expunge all marijuana convictions and imprisonment for drug use alone. As Harris has often done, flip-flopping on cannabis is nothing new. While she was California's Attorney General, she campaigned vigorously against the reform initiative on the 2010 ballot, co-authoring an official voter guide argument stating that the measure seriously compromises public safety in communities, roadways, and workplaces. Harris laughed off a question about marijuana legalization in 2014 in light of her Republican opponent's support for it. Despite her categorical opposition to legalization in 2017, she ultimately endorsed descheduling legislation, saying, "We need to get started regulating marijuana." It is unclear what this latest reported shift means for marijuana reform in 2021. Chuck Schumer, DNY, Ron Wyden, D.O.R., and Senator Cory Booker, DNJ, plan to introduce a legalization bill this session, and they've already met with advocates and stakeholders to assess what they should include in the legislation. They were willing to push the issue despite Biden's continued opposition to adult-use legalization, so it follows they will stick with it if reports about the vice president's position are true. Despite that, a tie-breaking vote could be needed on the floor if she's needed to vote to legalize marijuana. The Senate is evenly split between Democrats and Republicans. It's likely that parts of Harris's Marijuana Opportunity, Reinvestment, and Expunction (MORE) Act will be incorporated into their proposal, as the House version passed in that chamber last year and advocates support its strong social equity provisions. Bloomberg reported on Harris's apparent change of heart on cannabis policy as part of its investigation into the White House's search for a drug czar to lead the Office of National Drug Control Policy. Senator Patrick Kennedy, D.R., a co-founder of the nation's leading marijuana prohibitionist group, has been publicly lobbying the administration to appoint him to the post, much to the chagrin of reform advocates. An arguably more consequential nominee when it comes to federal drug policy is being confirmed by the Senate, and he said last week that he doesn't think Justice Department resources should be used to go after individuals acting in compliance with state marijuana laws. The judge told the Senate Judiciary Committee that using limited resources to pursue prosecutions in states that have legalized and are regulating marijuana use, either medically or otherwise, was not worthwhile. The Biden administration will institute a new policy granting waivers to some White House staff who have used cannabis. A memo was also distributed last week to federal agencies by the Office of Personnel Management, stating that past marijuana use should not preclude applicants from obtaining a federal government job. So there you have it, folks. VP Harris is two-faced. She is against legalization. No doubt about it. She has put many men and women in jail, ruining families. She is not your friend. Have a great day, everyone.